Alabama. Rece Davis on the Deseret First Credit Union Hotline. Rece, great to have you back with us on BYU Sports Nation.
Well, I'm glad to be with you, but clearly you haven't seen the documentary Muscle Shoals about the rich musical history of my hometown, because clearly I would not be the pride of the hit recording capital of the world. And you guys think I'm being facetious, but look up that the first words spoken on the documentary about Muscle Shoals come from Bono.
Wow.
Rolling Stones recorded there. Aretha Franklin recorded there. Anybody who is anyone in the music industry knows Muscle Shoals.
Rece, it was besides music. We just had the North Alabama game. We know. We did the research.
That's right. That's right. The UNA Lions are a rising program, but they're on the wrong side of the Tennessee River. They're on the Lauderdale County side. Muscle Shoals is on the Colbert County side, which is the superior side.
Duly noted. All right, Rece, no joke. We talked to Kalani Sitake this morning, and he asked if BYU can join the Fighting Rece Davises. So he wants to know how you feel about adding BYU to that team.
I'm in, man. I'm in. We've had some fun with that. It was kind of unexpected and kind of came off the cuff when Fitzgerald first started talking about that. I was like, what's Pat talking about? And I was like, oh, Galloway. Yeah, that's right. I've said many times, a lot of what Joey says, I let go in one ear and out the other. And that was another example of that, I guess.
Okay, let's talk about the elephant in the room. Obviously, BYU was hoping to be higher, exactly what they thought. I don't know, top 10, 11, 12, at least in the top 12. Well, it feels New Year's Six-ish. BYU comes in at 14. A lot of visible reaction from yourself and the panel last night. For those who missed it, what's your reaction to BYU being 14?
I didn't agree with it. Now, I'm not one, I don't like, and I sort of made fun of hot take talk radio guy who jumps in there and goes, they don't watch the games because they don't agree with me, that kind of thing. But I don't agree with their judgment of where BYU should be ranked. I do think that the good news for BYU is that in the history of this committee, they have, and look, it's hard to say that because you have new members every year, so the committee is not the same, and there are going to be different sensibilities each and every year. But historically, the different committees have shown the ability and the desire to reevaluate things. Now, there's not a lot to reevaluate BYU on unless you just want to go back and look and say, okay, wait, let's take another look at this. Have we made the proper judgment here? I think that's something that conceivably could happen, not because necessarily of media pressure or our reaction, but I think when there is reaction like that most reasonable people, rather than digging in and trying to prove that they're right, would look and say, okay, am I right or am I not right? And they can look at it again. So I think I wouldn't think that it is a definite that they are stuck at 14 forever. And I still think they're a very attractive candidate for a New Year's Six game. I would take them. If I were the Fiesta Bowl, I would definitely take them. They're going to have a spot. And that's just me talking. I'm not on the Fiesta Bowl committee or in that New Year's Six room because I know the committee also shapes those matchups. But, I don't think all is lost for BYU, and I do disagree with the judgment that the selection committee made last night. I thought they had them underranked.
Rece, when you back BYU like that, you endear yourself to BYU fans, and they'll think that you're the pride of Muscle Shoals. Don't
okay,
sell them
right.
short. Let's
take it.
Okay, let's discuss this. If you were on the committee, where would you have ranked BYU last night, and why?
Okay, well, all I can do, and I really should have my AP ballot in front of me before I say this. In full disclosure, for the first time in this most recent ballot, I moved Cincinnati ahead of BYU. Prior to that, I had BYU ahead of Cincinnati because I thought that, and still, it would be a good game. I would probably pick BYU to win the game. But it's hard for me to ignore that they handled Houston a little easier. And really the thing that pushed me over the edge was UCF. Because honestly, guys, I have a lot of respect for Cincinnati. I think they're really good. But I thought UCF would win the game. And they didn't. And though it was close at the end, it felt like Cincinnati took control of that. So I have them a spot behind Cincinnati. If memory serves, and I'm sure somebody can look this up on the internet if I mess this up, but I've got Alabama, Notre Dame, Ohio State, Clemson, Texas A&M ahead of Florida for right now, simply because I think you got to honor the head-to-head for a while. It's not the be-all, end-all forever, but for right now, it gives them the edge. And then I went Cincinnati, BYU. So I had BYU 8, if memory serves. 2 spots ahead of the Fighting Rece Davises. I had Northwestern.
Of Northwestern, for those who missed it. Yeah. So BYU certainly has openings they should and probably need to fill, right? December 15th and 19th. Is there anything BYU can do to fill those with opponents that would matter, that are available, that actually need a game to get BYU into a New Year's Six? Because it feels like it's not just BYU's needs, it's the other team's needs. And then as we saw with Washington in the Pac-12, the conference jumps in a little bit too.
Yeah, that's this is the hard part, is that based on where Cincinnati is, a Cincinnati game, and Cincinnati just had its game postponed, so that now may be a non-issue to begin with. But there was some talk that perhaps BYU and Cincinnati could have put something together, and it would have been a tremendous game. But based on the rankings last night, it would have been far more beneficial to BYU than to Cincinnati. I mean, Cincinnati still has a team that the committee has deemed worthy of ranking in Tulsa. They will probably play them twice in the American Championship game as well, and have to play them back-to-back. So I think Cincinnati now becomes difficult because there has to be something in it for both sides. So the Pac-12 is the obvious answer. There could be something in it for both sides. But then you run into the situation that you had this week. And I understand the Pac-12's position on this, but I didn't agree, again, and I'm not just trying to endear myself to BYU fans, but I didn't agree with all the people who said, well, BYU put the tweet out and said they play anybody, anytime, anywhere. Well, they don't want the rug pulled out from under them, and I hope I'm not stepping on toes, but they sure don't want the rug pulled out from under them in favor of their rival. So, they sure don't want that, and I don't blame them for that. So I think BYU acted with great prudence and did the right thing. But I do think they should continue pursuing games, and if they can get one against, probably they need to do a Power 5 or a team from the American, but it probably wouldn't hurt, if they got a Coastal Carolina, if that were possible, something like that even would be helpful, I think.
Rece, I can't help but
still think, just to be clear, I still think that they can move up enough to get a New Year's Six bid. I'm not as certain of it after last night as I was prior to that, but I still think that they can do it.
I can't help but look at the open date for UCF and think, hey, Cincinnati's big test was UCF. What if BYU went and played UCF in Orlando and they had that comparable game? Is that something that could weigh heavily into the College Football Playoff Committee's mind?
I don't know that it would, because even though I have high regard for UCF has found a way to lose some close games. They lost to Memphis, close game. They lost to Tulsa, and now they lost to Cincinnati. So it's a 3-loss team. So I think that's the problem. I know BYU's probably just anxious to play. That's clear from their original schedule with, having 6 Power 5 opponents on it. But I think it's difficult to find an opponent right now that moves the needle. And if they can, I know they're willing to play it and they won't back down from it for a second. But finding it is the difficult part, especially as teams are now starting to struggle again across the country with COVID cases and having to postpone or cancel games. That I think that even makes the geometry of all of this even more difficult.
Okay, let's finish with this, Rece. Hear me out. We get you in Muscle Shoals Sound Studio. You bring back Mark May on bass, Lou Holtz on the drum. You get Herbie and Pollock and Desert. You just get in the studio, you just see what happens.
One of my high school classmates and teammates now runs Fame Recording Studios in Muscle Shoals. His father founded it, big part of the movie. And let me just say, they would not let that group of characters that you just listed within about 1,000 feet of the front door of that studio.
Rece, we wish you the happiest of Thanksgivings, and we know how busy you are. We appreciate you taking the time with us and speaking some peaceful words to BYU fans over the holiday. Stay safe, and we'll see you down the road.
All right. Thanks for having me on, guys. And I'm going to tell you, your team has been impressive and fun to watch. Really unfortunate that they haven't been able to get the test that they had planned, but they're having a great season. I congratulate them on it.
Thanks, Rece. Happy Thanksgiving.
All right. Happy Thanksgiving, guys.